Introducing ELFET technology, an advanced and environmentally friendly technology that supports regenerative farming. Before we get into the technological side, let's take a look at water, soil, and plants, and their interconnected roles with one another. The Fabaceae family are known as nitrogen fixers. They increase the level of nitrogen in the soil, which plants need to produce protein so they can grow, and chlorophyll so they can photosynthesize. You would think that synthetic nitrogen fertilizer does the same thing, but more conveniently. But this is not the case at all. Excessive rainfall can cause substantial fertilizer runoff, leading to water pollution and disrupting river ecosystems through algal blooms. This primarily occurs with loose nitrogen fertilizer in the soil, which can harm earthworms and beneficial fungi and negatively affect soil pH,
which ultimately degrades soil health. Nitrogen-fixing plants don't fix nitrogen directly. They create habitats for bacteria that do. Clover roots, for example, house nitrogen-fixing bacteria that convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium. This is enriching to the soil. When the plant dies, these bacteria disperse, enhancing the soil's nitrogen supply for future plants. Nitrogen makes up 78% of the Earth's atmosphere, primarily as diatomic nitrogen, which plants cannot use directly. Specific bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium, which is then transformed into nitrite and nitrate by other bacteria. Nitrate is the most accessible form for plants, who absorb it from the soil, often with the help of mycorrhizal fungi that enhance nutrient uptake in exchange for sugars. Decomposing plant matter also enriches the soil with nitrogen, aided by earthworms that benefit nitrifying bacteria. Given that dead soil is unable to provide essential nutrients to plants, it is unsurprising that the nutritional value of vegetables has steadily declined over the past century. Healthy food fundamentally depends on the presence of healthy soil. ELFET technology is a fundamental way for farmers to move away from pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. In other words, chemical farming. ELFET will not only support the regenerative farming practices, but it will also improve the nutritional value of the food we eat. In short, ELFET can be explained by comparing it to the concept of an SD card. A SD card is made of plastic and some other components, and it can store various types of data. To write data onto the SD card, you'll need specific equipment and electricity. However, once recorded, a machine can access the information at any time. This allows you to play music or install software for file transfers. In contrast, using the ELFET Resonance Chamber is another method of storing data on man-made materials, such as metal or plastic. However, it is not read by machines. This data is biomimetic. Instead, living organisms or biological materials resonate with the embedded information on these materials sympathetically. These man-made materials can be stainless steel water tank inserts, nutrient tank inserts, seedling trays, plant stakes, and more. Even seeds can store this data, which optimizes the seed's germination rate and stimulates robust growth. The data we refer to is information, and information is energy. The information we incorporate is from nature's rhythms and logics. With ELFET software, we can convert this information into an electromagnetic field and then impart that field onto materials, which then those materials are beneficial to plants, animals, and humans when touching or in close proximity. Scientists around the world have found that water can actually store information from electromagnetic fields. Remember that plants are made up of 80 to 90% water. There is a direct benefit to plants being in contact with ELFET-treated products. Almost all living materials are made up of water. Animals and humans are made up of somewhere between 60 and 70% water. Water is the largest organic carrier of electromagnetic fields on the planet. Returning to the subject of plants, when ELFET-treated water is absorbed, it immediately aids the plant's functionality to help it reach its maximum genetic potential, much like using the right fuel for your engine. This marks the initiation of what is referred to as organically managed genetics, as it focuses on enhancing the plant's inherent genetic capabilities, a concept that stands in stark contrast to genetically modified organisms. Water is programmed with ELFET-treated materials, like the water tank insert in the holding tank. This programmed water reaches the plants and is absorbed. The plant may also have an ELFET-treated plant stake next to the stem. The first noticeable difference is that the propagation rates are increased. Secondly, the foliage is much bigger. This means that the plant can absorb more sunlight. This enhances photosynthesis, the process through which plants harness solar energy to produce their own food. It is essential to their survival, and here's the breakdown. Photosynthesis relies on water. One beneficial outcome is that as photosynthesis increases, the plant's ability to manage water improves as well. This allows the plant to better regulate its water intake and transpiration, promoting optimal growth and overall function. Consequently, this often leads to a reduction in the amount of water the plant requires. Through enhanced photosynthesis, plants generate more sugars and store excess energy by expanding their root systems. This surplus sugar nourishes soil microbes, which are essential for supplying additional nutrients. For example, some microbes extract nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into forms usable by plants, such as ammonium, nitrite, or nitrate through a process called nitrogen fixation. As plants grow stronger, they become more resilient to diseases due to their coherent electromagnetic ecosystem, as well as the abundance of sugars that support their growth and defense mechanisms. When plants are supported with subtle vibrations and a plant's biofield is in a state of equilibrium, it's almost as though the plant becomes invisible to pests. Pests are still a part of nature's intelligence, and they play the role of helping sickly or imbalanced plants decompose. As humans, we have interrupted this process with pesticides and fertilizers. This sets in motion the inorganic law of cause and effect, disrupting the coherence of the entire ecosystem. Interestingly, when a plant's Brix level is 5 or lower, it is vulnerable to various pests and diseases. In the 5 to 8 range, a different set of pests and diseases may emerge. However, within the 8 to 12 range, plants are significantly less susceptible to these threats. Once the Brix level exceeds 12, issues with pests and diseases vanish entirely. Additionally, increased photosynthesis contributes to pulling more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and depositing it in the soil, a process known as carbon sequestration. Consequently, through a chemical reaction, oxygen, the essence of life, is produced and released into the atmosphere. Nitrogen fixation and carbon sequestration work hand in hand to enhance ecosystem health. The ELFET Agri Chamber offers a regenerative farming practice by establishing a system that substitutes synthetic fertilizers and pesticides with natural alternatives, like subtle vibratory assistance and coherent water. This scalable approach is cost-effective, simple to install and implement, and adaptable to various crops and farming techniques. ELFET technology is compatible with any irrigation system, and it improves quality produce with increased amounts. ELFET is chemical-free and is completely safe for food, extends shelf life, conserves water, reduces long-term input costs, and enhances the overall value of your farm. To sum it all up, ELFET technology mimics natural processes, storing beneficial information in materials that resonate with living organisms. This technology enhances water's ability to support plant growth and optimize genetic potential without genetic modification. ELFET-treated water and materials promote increased photosynthesis, stronger root systems, and improved resilience against pests and diseases.